Let's take a breath. Let it out.
Hi, I'm Sophia Jessica, and this is Angel, and welcome to the fan carpet.
This is a family that deals with a terrible tragedy and experiencing a lot of grief, but they're also a family alone. They are unsupported and they're isolated, and we kind of follow them as they try to kind of survive post a terrible experience, and they search for guidance in a kind of empty place, really, that nobody's coming to their aid, so they have to search for it. And someone does come to help them through it, but is it the right person? I don't know.
Well, there's lots of elements to the novel. I was really taken with Andrew's style, you know, and the level of detail in the work. And afterwards, it reminded me of stories about springtime and rebirth and resurrection. And so it spoke to me on that kind of spiritual, religious level.
Yeah, I play Stephen in Starve Acre, who is a colleague of Matt Smith's character at the local university. They are both archaeology professors, and in the film, Richard starts this kind of obsessive dig in the fields behind the house, and my character kind of gets drawn into his sort of obsession, really, with finding out what's underneath it, and all goes from there.
I mean, Matt, I just think, is one of the best actors, one of the best British actors for sure. He's just so talented, and I think that is something that means that he can just go in and out within a moment, and that's very useful when you're doing something quite heavy. I mean, when we weren't kind of doing our scenes and being in the film, it was just very silly and jolly, and that, I think, when you're having a happy time, when you're not in front of the lens, then you can really go there when you are.
I think they both just got really into it, you know, they're both great to work with, easy to work with, creative actors, and they both buried themselves in the roles in different ways. Miv came with an arsenal of stories and folklore already ingrained in her, whereas Matt was building his character up from his accent and the clothes he was wearing. You know, he was more of a kind of physical actor, which really worked for the story because it was about him getting his hands dirty and rolling around in the mud.
Something that I think really works with Starve Acre is that so much part of the book is the atmosphere that kind of you felt when I was reading the book, that I could smell the grass and feel the wind. And I think that's something that Dan has been really clever in translating to the screen. So I think it's not just about the plot, but the kind of essence of the feeling you had when reading that book.
Matt's so idiosyncratic himself, and I really enjoyed meeting him and working with him, especially after seeing so much of his brilliant work over the years. And he really immersed himself, but he didn't sort of kind of do anything method or anything like that. He was still kind of very jovial and fun between the takes. But it was a film where the elements really kind of took hold, and he was kind of immersing himself in the surroundings, I think, really, yeah.
I find the idea of nature healing makes me happy, but also quite frightening because I don't know if nature healing wants us here anymore necessarily. So there's this idea of kind of this beautiful thing that also has the possibility of what's the word I'm looking for? Avalanching. I've always found the sea and storms so frightening because they are just so much bigger than us.
I mean, there's lots of challenges. One was finding the right location, in the book it spoke about it being a place where not much grew, an isolated place, somewhere that was close to a lot of history in the centre of a village in the past. So we needed all those elements in the location, and we found that. We found this beautiful isolated house where the land sort of rolled down into a bog area, and as a result you couldn't quite see the horizon, so it had that quality.
Yeah, the location is kind of what makes the film, really. It's kind of in this small kind of like, not valley, but in this kind of like small dip in the land where there's like a farm, and it was kind of like at the mercy of all of the elements, and yeah, that just kind of, even like all the bog holes in the field, that kind of really made sort of like the texture and the production design just even more kind of effective, I think.
I think he's on a very difficult journey of grief, but it's a story about trauma that's passed down through folk tales, you know. So with that comes a lot of other elements, pagan elements, concepts of the weird, about where people end up in a place where they're meant to be, you know, despite not wanting to be, and that was the journey that Richard was on.
Yeah, I think obviously grief is such a huge part of it, and you know, it's the relationship between Juliette and Richard, and the way that they kind of like process the grief of their child, and also the way that Matt, as a man in the piece in the 70s, he sort of navigates that himself, really by closing down. And my relationship with him in it is it's very sad because they're friends, but they can't quite contact each other, and there's no kind of like way of him really seeing that. But I mean, and Dan's a great kind of I worked with Dan on Apostasy, and you know, his exploration of grief through that as well was through spirituality as well, which he has a sort of personal experience of. I think is kind of what is at the heart of this and that as well. So yeah,
I think the genius of Tolkien's world for me is, first of all, that nature is a main character, as with in Starve Acre, nature is the main character. But also, I'm obsessed with the hobbits, because you have to strive for a world where even the little hobbits are safe. And that's, I think, something we need to remember, that the most vulnerable amongst us must be protected, otherwise we can't call ourselves civilized. It's darkest rising, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Slightly my fault, yeah.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, X and Instagram for more content. Bye for now.
The dandelion has blood.
Just show what you can do. I hear a siren. Maybe you were wrong about me. I'm dangerous and still. Why don't you give me a sign, like the sea that leads a trail along that shore? It's not your problem, it's mine. Everybody thinks that I'm okay. Sometimes I think I am too. I'm on the outside looking in, I'm waiting for the shockwaves to begin. Oh, won't you let me hold you for one time? Just a rainy day in a London cafe, a London cafe. So give me one last serenade. Say to me, or swear with me till the night turns into day. And it was a shame when daylight faded, because we didn't notice at all.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.